All right. Good. So we'll come back to a seated or standing grounded position of some sort. We'll close the eyes. And just coming into the belly breath. You can put both hands over the low belly if that's helpful. Letting yourself be heavy. Letting yourself land right now. And we're going to do a little bit of breath work here. So we're going to do, instead of box breathing, we're just going to do some really long and slow exhales. So I'll cue you, but if my cueing is either too fast or too slow for you, then just move your breath at the pace that feels comfortable for you. All right, so when you're ready, we'll take an inhale. And we'll take an exhale all the way out through the end of your breath. And then you're going to hold for 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. And then take an inhale. And then exhale all the way to the end of your breath. And then you're going to hold. 2, 1. Take an inhale. Take an exhale. All the way to the end. And hold. 3, 2, 1. Do that a few more times. Inhale. And exhale. Still trying to do all of this through nasal and belly breathing if you can. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Inhale. Exhale. Long and slow. Hold the breath. 3, 2, 1. One more. Inhale. Exhale. And hold. 3, 2, 1. Inhale. And just come back to normal breathing. And then we'll open your eyes. Okay. Good. Let's reach both arms up to the sky. Interlace the fingers if you can. Reaching the palms up. Take an inhale. And then exhale to articulate down. Good. Hold at the bottom. And just give the shoulders a little wiggle side to side. Maybe rotate the head back and forth, side to side. And then we'll articulate back up. We'll bring the arms down and behind you, pulling the chest forward. Keep the arms behind you and find a few wrist twirls there. Okay, and shake that out. All right, I'm gonna zoom in here. Okay, so we'll do some nervous system things. So let's start taking either fingers or knuckles right at your breastbone. And I just want you to start by tracing, just so we all know where our breastbone is, just tracing the outline of that breastbone. So kind of feeling in the very center of your chest. And then when you start to bring your hands out to the side, you'll hopefully feel the edges of the ribs going out from there. So the breastbone is maybe only a couple inches, if that, wide. Okay, and then I want you to start to, so fingers are going to come to the center of the breastbone, and then you're going to take your fingers and pull the fingers away, kind of like if you were ripping your shirt open. You're going to reset, bring your fingers to a different part of your breastbone, and then pull and traction away. And just keep doing that, working your way up and down the breastbone. Maybe it's more tender for you in the center. Maybe it's more tender for you on the outsides. And just wherever that is, just playing with that tenderness, breathing into it, creating some space in the front of the body. You can switch and use your knuckles and a soft fist if that feels easier for you. Okay, and then shake your hands out. Good. I think we did this one either last week or the week before, but you're going to take your thumbs if you're able to, or even just your kind of your knuckles and your wrists. This was last week. That's right. This was the superstar one. So you're going to put your thumbs or your knuckles right in the front of your armpit, like right where that armpit might start to get smelly. Dig your thumbs in there. And my hands are just kind of crossing just because it's comfortable. And then I'm just going to let my shoulder soften in the front. And I'm going to kind of press in with my thumbs until I find a tender point. You can move your thumbs around if you haven't found a tender point yet. Yeah, everyone's point might be a little different. And then I want you to take some breaths into the lateral ribs here as you're doing that. So trying to find that expansiveness of your ribs as you put a little bit of traction and pressure into the front of the armpits. Just take a couple more breaths like that. Last one. And then relax, shake the hands out. Good. Let's take left arm. You're going to bring it in front of you. And let's start with this. So elbow is straight, your thumb is pointing up towards the sky, and you're going to turn your fingers and your wrist from the left to the right. Make sure that shoulder isn't hiking up. Okay, so now we're going to leave the fingers pointing out to the left, really actively pulling those shoulders back. Unshrug the shoulders, so set that shoulder down. Open the arm as far back as it will go. We're doing a little bit of nerve flossing here. We're just going to hold for a couple seconds and then shake the arm out. If it gets nervy before we release it, then release it before I tell you to. Bring the arm out in front of you. Turn the wrist back and forth, in and out. Make sure that shoulder is set down. If it helps you to put your hand on that shoulder, just to remind it to stay down. Okay, pull the fingers out to the left. We're still on the same side. And then open, pull that shoulder and that arm back behind you. Hold it. And then release, shake it out. Yep, and let's do that on the other side. So right arm out in front of you. Thumb is up. Flopping the fingers left and right. And the wrist. Yeah, you can take that opposite arm to remind that right shoulder to stay down now. And then you're going to pull the fingers out to the side. Open that arm back behind you. And notice if you get further on one side than the other, and then shake it out. Does one side feel a little bit more restricted? Arm out in front of you, flopping the wrist and the fingers back and forth. Shoulder down. And then fingers out to the side. Opening, holding, and then releasing and shaking. Good. Okay. So let's bring that into rotation now. So left arm can just come out in front. You're going to open and rotate. Let your spine come with you this time, going as far as you can. and then back to the center. And we'll switch sides. So just testing that. How is that feeling? I always forget, we should have done the before and the after. That's okay. But just noticing, just oscillating with that rotation from the left side to the right side. Bringing your eyes, head, neck, and spine with you. Do one more each side. And last one. And back to the center. Good. Okay, let's come to some head things. Let me take off my headphones. Okay, so you're gonna find a nice head scratch. I like to use my nails, but you can use your knuckles or whatever feels good. Finding that head scratch all the way around your head. Spending some extra time on the tender areas. Okay, and then shaking the hands out and releasing that. And then you're going to take your, again, fingertips or knuckles, and you're going to find your hairline on the very top of your head, or where your hairline would be. And you're just going to take that and you're going to mobilize the skin and the hair in that area. So I'm keeping my fingers over the same spot, and I'm rolling my fingers in little circles. I'm going up and down and side to side, and just mobilizing the tissue and the scalp in that area. Okay. And then you're going to come to your eyebrows. What do I like to use here? I actually like to use one of the knuckles of my thumbs. You can use your fingertips too. And I'm pressing, and I'm just giving a tiny bit of pressure, and I'm going to trace the outline of my eyebrows from the inside to the outside. So the entire back line of muscle and fascia of our body, think all of the muscles and the tissue on the whole back side of your body. That line, that fascial connection, comes up and over the top of your head, and it attaches right at the top of your eyebrows. So this is a good spot to give some attention to. It can actually release some tension more in the back side of your body. Okay, and then shake that out. Okay, let's do one more here. We're going to start with our ear pull. So grabbing your earlobe or using your knuckles, and then you're going to pull down and back behind you. I'm kind of pulling the ears away from each other. Taking some belly breaths into that. Good, and then release and shake that out. Okay. And then you're gonna, again, using knuckles, I'm gonna use my thumb because that just feels most natural to me. And I'm going to pull the skin, and maybe bringing the hair with me. I'm gonna pull the skin around my ear. So I'm gonna trace this outline. We're gonna pull my skin away from my ear, maybe just about an inch. And I'm gonna find a new spot, resetting at the base, somewhere around the back part of the ear. I'm gonna push and traction away from my ear. Find a new spot, push and traction away. So like trying to create space in the tissue around your ear. Yeah, you can do both sides at the same time. There's no wrong way to do this. If you're hitting tender areas, you're probably in a good spot. And just doing that all the way around. Don't do it in the front by the temple because that area is very sensitive. Stay more in the back side of your ear, kind of behind your ear, pulling back behind you, down towards your neck, and up and back behind you. Okay, and just noticing, is one side more sensitive than the other? There's a ton of attachment sites in this area too. We've got some cranial nerves that come out around this area. And then shake the hands out. Okay, and then just see how that's feeling now. So let me put these back on. And then just find a few head tilts to the left and to the right. And then finding a few head nods down and up. One more. Down and okay, awesome. I'm gonna back up again. Let's do some quick body tapping and then we'll keep coming into this. Okay, I feel so far away from the camera. There we go. Okay, so we'll start at the chest. Using an open hand, tapping the chest down the side of the body. Getting into the low back if you can reach that area. Working down the outsides of the hips and the legs. Just realized I had my shoes on. You can give the feet a rub if you're able to reach them. And then working up the insides of the legs. Doing that a few times through. Using an open hand, a soft fist. Spending a little extra time if you've got some tender areas. And we'll come to the arms. Just tapping anywhere on the arm in any direction and any pattern, just waking things up. Make sure you get the top of the shoulders too. Those areas to relax a little bit. Switch sides. Can you belly breathe as you do this? Can you nasal breathe as you do this? Okay, so still thinking about your breath even as we're doing this kind of stuff. Okay, good. Going to give everything a shake. Shake the legs if you're standing. Okay, we'll do ankles and wrists here. Let's point this down a little bit more. So we'll spin, if you can make a fist, spinning the fist in a circle. If you're standing or seated and you can do some ankle circles, try to do some ankle circles also on both sides. Okay. Good, and you're gonna bring hands out in front of you. So give me the stop sign signal, and then you're gonna turn the stop sign signal so it's upside down. Right side up, and maybe even stop sign signal so the fingers are pointing in towards each other, and then as far upside down as you can. Yeah, so just rotating back and forth. This is really more for the shoulders. And for folks that are standing, if you want to come into an internal and an external position with your hips, so heels together, toes apart, and then toes together, heels apart, and just stepping back and forth, or moving from the shoulders, or doing both. And then we're going to come into goalpost arms, finding the upside down and the right side up goalpost. And when you do that right side up goalpost, lift the chest, maybe look up a little bit, And then when the goalposts go upside down, I want you to actually round your spine just a little bit. Doesn't have to be too much. Everything lifts, pulls back, and pointing down and rounding. Lifting and rounding. And for standing athletes, if you want to do some knee circles as we do that one, circling the knees around the ankles, your hands can be on your knees. Do a few more, whichever variation you're doing. Okay, and then coming back to the center. Yep, and we'll bring hands to the hips. And let's just come right into a full hula hoop. So if you're able to do this hula hoop more from the pelvis, you can do it more from the pelvis, tucking the tail under, rolling around, lifting the belly button forward. If it's easier to do this hula hoop from the ribs, you can do it from the ribs. And really trying to hit every edge of that circle. I sometimes even like to use my hands to almost trace the outline that my ribs or my pelvis is drawing, just so I can really focus on if I'm missing a part of the edge, maybe in the back left corner or the front right corner. Yeah. And then back to the center. And then just finish with a few shoulder circle rolls. All right. Let's grab the letter ball. Okay, go ahead and go right into playing letter ball. Yeah, I'm just going to talk you through this just as a reminder here. So holding that ball into your chest, you're going to move that ball away from your body at whatever angle you'd like. You're going to say the first letter number you see, pull it back in. Pull that ball away at a different angle, say the first letter number you see, and pull it back in. And you're just going to continue to do that, moving or throwing or bouncing that ball around you. Saying the first letter number you see, and then moving it or throwing it at a different angle. Remember, it's okay if you miss the ball. Try to make it challenging for yourself. If you're able to do some throws or some bounces from the left side to the right side, where you can transfer the ball easily or you can throw the ball easily, either over your head or across your body from left hand to right hand, do a few of those. Okay, let's add in some brain speed. So let's go, let's see, I can mirror you here. Let's say when you catch a letter, we're gonna do some cross body stuff. So when you catch a letter, wait, I'm gonna face away from you so I can do the same side. Okay, letter, you're gonna tap your right hand to your left knee. Right hand to left knee. If you're standing, you can even lift that knee up. Or if you're seated, you're just gonna tap across the body. So letter, you tap right hand to left knee. Number is left hand to right knee. Okay, so letter, you're gonna do it with your right hand. Number, you're gonna do it with your left hand. Letter right, number left. Letter right, number left. Okay, and just finding that cross tap after each one. You can even tap it with the ball if that's the side you're holding the ball onto. Letter right, number left. Let's see. Letter, you tap with the right hand. Number, you tap with the left hand. This one is harder than I thought it was going to be. And remember, you're trying to make that decision as quick as you can. Yeah, nice, everybody. Yeah, maybe just do 5 or 6 more throws. Okay, and go ahead and relax. Okay, I'm gonna have you grab, you know, let's actually do this one without the pencils because it will just be easier. We'll do a quick neural reset. So I'm just gonna have you come to back to a centered position here. Nose is gonna be pointing forward and just your eyes are gonna move over to the left. So I want you to pick something on the left side of you for your eyes to focus on. We're gonna hold this for 20, maybe 30 seconds. And just finding your belly breathing as you're doing this. So head centered, eyes to the left. And I don't want it to be so far to the left where it's hard for you to see the thing, just somewhere over in the left area. Okay, and then back to the center. Same thing going to the right. So head in the center, eyes go to the right, pick something to look at. Find your belly breath. You can even put one hand over the low belly if that's helpful. Good. Keep holding that, keep holding that, keep breathing into the low belly. And then relax. Okay. Set this pencil down for a sec. Okay. Let's reach the arms up to the sky. Spread the fingers, widen the ribs, shrug everything up. And then exhale, you're going to roll down more on the left side of your body. When you get to the bottom, just pause, take a breath into the open ribs. And then on your next exhale, roll yourself up. Good. Spread the fingers, reach everything up again. Take an inhale. And then exhale, rolling down on the right side of your body. When you get to the bottom, take a breath into the open ribs. And then rolling up on your exhale. Good. And arms come down. Okay. I'm going to zoom back in. Go ahead and grab your pencils. Tilt this up. Okay. I'm sorry, actually just grab one pencil. You're just gonna need one for this. So we're gonna do, this is gonna be VOR cancellation. So we'll all do the same one. So you're going to be holding that pencil out in front of you. Lock your eyes on a specific letter. And then you're going to draw a horizontal figure 8 in front of you. Your nose and your eyes are going to follow that figure 8 the whole time. The faster and bigger the figure 8 is, the harder it is for your vestibular system. The smaller and slower it is, the easier it is. Okay, so if you start to get dizzy or nauseous, slow it down or back off. Everyone switch directions. Tracking that same letter. Yeah, okay, and relax. Good. Okay, I'm going to change it. So now, well, I'm going to change it for some of you. So now head is going to be facing still. You're going to do a vertical figure 8 with the pencil, and just your eyes are going to track it. Same rules apply. The faster and bigger that figure 8 is, the harder it is now for your visual system. For folks who are blind or visually impaired, I'm going to have you do the same thing we just did. Follow the head and the nose so it stays with that pencil, doing now the vertical figure 8. Everyone else, you're I like the stabilization of the head. Everything else you're just doing, everyone else you're just moving the eyes. Yeah, really good. Yeah, and just noticing as you're doing this one, just like taking a pulse check and noticing and reflecting on, do you feel like the range of motion of your eyes and or your head, if you're moving your head around, do you feel like you're able to see more in your periphery vision, more above you, more to the side of you, more below you than say 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago? Sometimes it's really easy to know. Yeah, everyone can relax. You can take a break. Yeah. So some of the really easy ways to notice this are maybe when you're driving and you have to look into your blind spot. So just noticing things that might feel easier for you, looking at something above you when you're unable to lift your head up. Yeah, just realizing like this big figure 8 that you're drawing, that for a lot of you looks like a really big range of motion, is quite impressive. And realizing maybe when we were doing these in the beginning, whether it was circles or with figure 8s, your circle might have looked, let me back up, your circle might have looked like the size of a watermelon, and now it's like the size of a big yoga ball, okay, because maybe your eye range of motion is increased. So just noticing that difference, or remembering that difference if you can remember from when you first started taking these classes, because that looks really good for a lot of you. Okay, let me back up again. See if that works. Okay, great. Okay, let's do a little bit of coordination. Sorry, I'm going to point this down a little bit more. Okay. Okay, so let's start. We're going to do take right arm, and you're going to draw as if you were like holding a pencil or something. You're going to draw a 5-point star out in front of you. A 5-point star. That 5-point star, that's the continuous one line, so it's kind of a never-ending one. Yeah, and it doesn't have to be super big. I don't want this to feel taxing on the shoulders. You can even make it really small if you want. Let's see. I can't even get my star straight without adding on. Okay, hang on. Let me. There we go. There we go. Okay, so keep doing that. Again, if your shoulder's getting tired, just make the star a little smaller because I don't want your shoulder to get tired. Okay, and if you can, with your other arm, You're just gonna lift the arm up overhead and back down. Lifting overhead and back down as you continue to draw that star. Some days these feel easy and some days this feel like my brain is very confused. Today I'm having one of the confused days. Okay, if that feels too hard, you can also add, instead of an arm raise, if you're standing, you can add a leg raise or a knee raise if you want to do a knee on one side and then drawing the star with your hand for standing athletes. Just gonna watch people for a sec. Wow, I'm very impressed. Yeah, some of you are moving very quickly. Okay, if you want a little bit more time on that side, stay on that side. If that side is starting to feel easy, go ahead and switch sides. Start slow, drawing the star. Just starting with the star drawing now on the other arm. Well, that's much easier. Okay, and then adding the arm raise in when you're ready. And you don't have to add the arm raise in. If drawing the star is hard enough as is, or drawing the star while you're doing a knee raise or something, the slower you go, the slower you move both arms, the easier this will be. Yeah, nice. Yeah, and that reminds me, if this is hard too, maybe try closing your eyes. That might make it harder and it might make it easier. So play with that. It might not be for you. Yeah, good, good. Okay, and relax. Okay, let's just do a little bit of speed coordination here. I'm gonna zoom in for this again. So you're gonna take one hand on top of the other. So my knuckles are lying on the bottom palm. Okay, you can have your hand in a fist too, whichever you're able to do. And I'm gonna quickly turn, it doesn't matter which side you start on, but you're gonna quickly turn, slapping knuckles, palm, knuckles, palm, knuckles, palm on that bottom hand. So the bottom hand stays completely still. The top hand is flopping back and forth, like if there was a fish on your hand and that fish was trying to flop back and forth. And you're just trying to go as quick as you can. Yeah, nice, everyone. The endurance part of this can be hard, so stay with this for just a few seconds longer. Okay, and relax. Shake that hand out. Yeah, and then we're going to switch sides. We can even use this as a test and a retest if we wanted to, but for the purposes of right now, just doing a little bit of speed coordination. How quick can you do this? And can it be smooth and consistent where you're not tapping twice on the same side? You might find one side is quite a bit harder for you than the other. This is working the back part of your brain, the very back lower part of your brain. That deals with your coordination and the speed of your coordination. Oh my gosh, this is getting sloppy. Okay, good, and shake that hand out. Okay, good. Back that up a little bit, okay. Let me back up again, good. Let's just do a little bit of spine stuff here in between. So we'll take left arm up to the sky, coming into a side bend over to the right. And then back to the center. Right arm up and over. And center. Inhale to side bend. And exhale center. Inhale side bend. And exhale center. Yeah, let's do a couple more. Yeah, do one more. Good. And then back to the center. We're going to bring the arms out into a T, palms facing down. And then finding your rib translation back and forth. Trying to keep the shoulders and the ribs parallel. And trying to keep even weight down through both sides of your sit bones. Okay, good. So I'm gonna have you translate to the right and hold. And then you're gonna find a side bend to the left, but holding that translation. This is gonna feel weird. And then back to the center, and then shift your spine back to the center. Yeah, translate to the left, and then side bend to the right. Yeah, so we're shortening the right ribs, and then come out of the side bend, come out of the translation. Translate right, side bend left. Come out of the side bend, come out of the translation. Side bend, or sorry, translate, side bend. So you're side bending in the opposite direction that you're translating to. Come out of one, come out of the other. Translate right, side bend left, and then back to the center. Translate left, side bend right. And see if you can start to make it a little bit smoother. Translate, side bend. Translate, side bend with a little bit more flow. Inhale to translate, exhale to side bend. Inhale, translate, exhale, side bend. Inhale, exhale. That's it. Nice, everyone. Try to keep your head and your neck pointing, or I should say, try to keep your nose pointing forward so that your head stays more on. Yeah, that's better. Do one more. Good. And then back to the center. Okay. Let me scoot in one more time here. Let's just end with some pencil push-ups. So maybe take your pencil. You can take your glasses off if you can still see your pencil clearly out in front of you. If you know what you're doing, go ahead and go right into this. Moving that pencil in and away from your face, doing some pencil push-ups. I'm going to talk you through it if you don't know what to do. And for folks that are blind or visually impaired, I'm just going to bring you into a head nod, a yes nod up and down with your head, maybe about 20 times or 20 pencil push-ups. Yeah, and just as a reminder for these ones, so eyes locked on that letter. You're only going to pull it into your face as close as you can, where you still only see one pencil. If you start to see two pencils, you've gone a little too far. And trying to pull that pencil right in between the two eyes. Yeah, and then maybe doing a few where you're pulling it to the tip of your nose. We actually have two different nerves that control coming into your eyes and then coming into your nose. So it's nice to do both of those. The faster you go, the harder it gets, but making sure you only see one pencil the whole time. Can you come back to your belly breathing? Just make sure you're not holding your breath. Just do one more maybe. And relax. Nice, everyone. Okay. Give everything a shake. Let your breath go. Shaking everything off. Okay. We'll come back to a grounded, seated or standing position. So let yourself be heavy and we'll close the eyes. Hands can come to the low belly if that's helpful. And just finding your breath again. Just noticing if there's any buzz or any different sensations in your body right now. Maybe think of one thing you're grateful for today. We'll take one more inhale, one more exhale, and we'll open the eyes. Awesome. Thanks so much for joining, everyone. I will stick around. Let me just stop this recording.